This is the 11th Hour, and I'm your host, Nathaniel Stone. But we all know who the Lord of Hosts is. Say it with me in any dialect you so choose. YAHUAH, Sabaoth. Kodesh brothers and sisters, fellow members in the body of Messiah, and those in the world, thank you for giving me your attention in a world full of distractions. This is Season 3, Episode 2 on Publish the Name of YAHUAH. We are going to be getting into Chapter 1 on the first part of the Season 3, Episode 1. I got into the preface and the introduction of the topic that we're going to be working on. And now we're going to be getting into Chapter 1. And so from here on forth, the plan is to make each one of the videos a subsequent chapter to follow. So there's going to be, I think it's like 21 chapters or so, 20 chapters, 20 chapters total, 21 episodes that we're going to have. So we're going to be talking on a number of topics, namely Chapter 1 here is the set-apart name in the three angels' message. Go ahead and pull that up here. The set-apart name in the three angels' message. And just as a reminder, we're going to be keeping with Matthew 18:20 of where two or three are gathered in his name. There's the presence of the Ruach Kodesh. So I have my wife with me. Let's go ahead and introduce my wife, Jennifer, again.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Here I am again. Thank you for having me. Let's do this.
Yeah, excited. We just went over the material and we get into the three angels message. Again, this document is Publish the Name of YAHUAH, the website. I'm going to put in the description box below. And we're going to be going chapter by chapter. It's a great message of the name of YAHUAH. Now, again, go ahead and skip forward if you want to get into a pronunciation debate. Chapter 5 and on is more vocalized pronunciations, but I think what's really special what Brother Allen did here in the first preface, in the first 4 chapters after the introduction and preface, is that he's getting more into the meat of it, even though I'm going to expand on a lot of his topics here in the three angel message. So let's get into that here. So chapter 1, the Kodesh Shem, the holy name, in the three angels message. So what is the three angels message is kind of what we're going to be getting into. What is the three angels message? It is in Revelation chapter 14. Let's go there. Let's go over here. Yeah, we'll actually, excuse me. We'll go over here. Before I get into that, I really like this here. Before I switch, I don't want to lose this. Psalm 16:4, the sorrows of those who run after another one are increased. I would not pour out their drink offerings of blood, nor take up their names on my lips. Run after the false Elohim, right? He's not going to let their names be on their lips. And this is going to connect in with the three angel message. But let's go ahead and look at what is the three angels message. Who are the three angels? It's Revelation 14. Again, following along in any translation that you choose. All scripture books are gold. Some have higher quality carat of gold than others. And the original gold, 24 karat gold, is the original writing in the original dialect from the inspired person who wrote it down. But the three angels message here is the first angel, Revelation 14. Again, ISR says messenger, but like if I were going to click here, I'll show you. In fact, even the word angel is after a false god. It's a pagan word. So ISR is trying to remove pagan things. That's what we read in Psalms chapter 16, verse 4 earlier. ISR tries to remove pagan names. In fact, they get rid of the word gospel, right? The go spell. It's not a coincidence that it's the go spell. And they have the good news there, or the Basora is the word there in Hebrew. Basora HaMalkuth, the good news of the kingdom. They try to remove, or ISR, to the best of their ability, removes a lot of this false praise to pagan, deities in systems that are there. But that's a side point. But So whenever you see it say messenger in ISR, it's angel, as you see in other translations, just so that we don't get lost. We still do speak English, so I want you to understand that if you see that. So I saw another angel. Here's they call this the first angel, the first angel message, flying in mid-heaven, holding the everlasting gospel, good news, to announce to those dwelling on the earth. Fear Elohim, right? He's saying with a loud voice, every nation, tribe, tongue, and people. Fear Elohim, give esteem, right? The word glory, as we covered earlier, pagan name, it's a daughter of Zeus, so they pull the word glory out and put the word esteem. The actual word there in Hebrew for esteem would be kabod, glory, esteem, but synonyms there. But essentially, the first angel message is to fear Elohim, to fear God. And to give that esteem, that glory to him, because the hour of the judgment is coming. Now here's the next one. They call this the second angel message, talking about Babylon the Great is fallen. Okay, and then the third angel message is here. A third angel followed them, talking, and many people know this. We're going to touch on this here in a little bit. We're going to expand on it. If anyone worship the beast in his image and receives the mark upon his forehead or upon his hand, he shall also drink the wine of the wrath of Elohim, which is poured out undiluted into the cup of his wrath, and he shall be tortured with fire and sulfur before the Kodesh Malachim, the holy angels, and before the Lamb. And the smoke of their torture goes up Leolam Bayed, forever and ever. And they have no rest day or night, those worshiping the beast and his image. Also, if anyone receives the mark of his name. So again, publish the name of YAHUAH, and then here we have the opposite, the name of the beast that is there. And that is the third Malach, the third angel. That's the third angel message. So now that we have that understanding, we're going to go over here with that. So Brother Allen here is talking about the first angel message is to fear Elohim, and then he's saying now what he says here. He says some think that preaching the importance of keeping the seventh day Shabbat is the three angels' message, or the message of all three. Right? You first get a warning, and then you get the proclamation of destruction, and then you also get basically the announcing of what happens to those who didn't heed the warning. And so he's saying that some think, and notice how he has three angel message all capitalized here. You notice it's the T and the A and the M are capitalized. The reason why he has this capitalized is this is a Seventh-day Adventist teaching, and he doesn't come right out and point it out. He just says some think, but what he's really saying, and a lot of this in the chapter here, by the way, just so you know what the chapter is and kind of like the context of it. I don't know for sure, but I can guess with an accurate, educated guess that this chapter here is written to people that he is in contact with or has had affiliation with regarding the Seventh-day Adventism. In Seventh-day Adventism, as we're going to touch on, I'll show you in this chapter. Basically what he's saying is you guys are right about a lot of things, but you're not right in the fullness of it. You're right about some of it. Yes. What you're going to say in what your religion teaches in the three angels message, is correct, but it's not the fullness of it. And the fullness of it is that you're missing a lot of other major aspects of the three angel message. And what it is he's saying that fear Elohim is not just about keeping the Sabbath, as Seventh-day Adventists will say. Well, the three angels message is keeping the Sabbath, and if you don't keep the Sabbath, then you have the mark of the beast on you. That's the message. You can go look that up on your own. That's essentially what they say in a nutshell, is that the mark of the beast is the breaking of the Sabbath. And what Brother Allen, who wrote this material here, and what I would also agree is, an interesting point is that I came to this understanding and then was given this information. So to me, this information has been like confirmation to me, but it was put together so well that I don't want to I felt like to make my own. I feel that the brother did this legwork, and then I'm just here expanding upon points that he's already made. So I feel that I don't have to write my own publication here. I can share the brother's publication and then make a video as expanding upon the points, which is why I did it this way and not write my own information. We're all in the body together, and some of us plants the seed, and other of us water it, and other of us cultivate it. And this is my part in this message that this brother was given, clearly Ruach guided brother, to put as we get into the whole chapter, without a doubt in my mind that the brother really has his head on straight regarding at least the topics that he shared within the parameters of his publication. And so I want to expand upon that and share more information that I have in addition to what he was given as a harmony, not in disharmony. So again, what he's saying is he's saying that this three angels message that the Seventh-day Adventists are teaching is partially correct, but it's not correct in its fullness. And he's saying that some are saying, he's saying the SDA, Seventh-day Adventists, are saying that it's the three angel message is only the Sabbath, but it's not only the Sabbath. Fear Elohim is not only the Sabbath, and that's what he's going to make that point throughout the duration of this chapter. Is there anything that you want to say before we continue to move on, Amor?
What I want to point is they are talking about obedience.
Talk into the mic directly.
Yeah, they are talking about obedience, right?
Yes.
And then I have just Acts 5:29 to share if you want to go and
Yes.
read. And also I remember when Peter says that, yeah, Peter says that.
Okay.
And the apostle says,
Let's go there.
"You must obey." Okay.
It's where Acts.
Acts 5, 29.
Whoop, just jump chapter on me. Hang on. There we go. Okay. And Kepha and the other apostles, which is pagan word. Okay, you can look into that reasoning behind that. Emissaries, as the ISR will here say, answering said, "We have to obey Elohim rather than men. The Elohim of our fathers raised up YAHUAH, who you laid hands on, hanging him on a timber." I think this word for timber, what is it? It's probably Xylon? Xylon, yeah, correct. Okay. And so you're with Acts 5:29. What was it that you wanted to bring up connected to that we need to obey Elohim rather than men?
Yes, as the document of the chapter 1 is saying here about the obedience, about the Shabbat, about bringing him back, and just pop on my mind this chapter.
Okay, into the mic directly, please. All right. Let's go ahead and go forward on that. So fearing Elohim, as we covered in Acts 5:29, as Kepha said, obey Elohim rather than men. It's not just the Sabbath. And to those of you who are tuning in and you're maybe more on the Christianized understanding of biblical interpretations of what the word says, and by that I mean Christianity as I see is as actually not as I see, as Caesar Constantine the Great said in the early middle 4th century 320s and so on. He said that Christianity is an institution of Rome. So Christianity is an institution of Rome. So those of you that have been institutionalized by the Roman interpretations of the New Testament maybe completely reject the Sabbath. And that's okay. That's not the point that he's trying to make here, but it is connected in with that. But again, this chapter has to do with Seventh-day Adventism, about a lot of what they're teaching. And they're saying that fearing Elohim is only has to do with the seventh day Sabbath. And that's what the first angel of Revelation 14:6 and 7 is saying. But it is not in its fullness. As as Brother Allen continues, he's saying that it implies that all points of Scripture that the Creator has given us to obey. All right, and I would agree with that. So he's going to continue on and say that the seventh day Shabbat is an illustration. If man decides to sprinkle holy water on a day other than the seventh day Shabbat, and tries to say that it's holy, which he has not the power to do, but might think he does, right? Like the Roman Catholic Church think they do. Then if men honor this man-made holy day, are they fearing Elohim? Of course not, right? They're not. If the Father says that he hates the smell of pork on an altar, and then you alter that understanding and say that now you can go ahead and burn pork on the altar, and you have a billion people that say that it's okay to put pork on the altar as a sacrifice before the Creator because now he's changed and now he likes the smell of pork, and pork is not unclean, now pork is clean. If a billion people think that, well, a billion people can think that all they want, but we don't wrap the Creator around us. We wrap ourselves around the Creator. And what he's saying basically is that it doesn't matter if a bunch of people get together and try to change the Sabbath day from Saturday to Sunday, or from Sunday to Monday, or try to change what the difference between clean and unclean is, or holiness and profane, or righteousness and unrighteousness. It doesn't matter what it is you think that you can do with the power you think you have. Yeah, everything's a fabrication. Everything can be fabricated. Everything is a construct. You can construct whatever you want in your mind, and you can try to construct anything you want in reality. But if the Father says not to construct something, or not to be something, or not to do something, then don't do it. And it's as simple as that. He may give you he may allow you the time in the life to be able to do something against him for a period in time, but it doesn't mean that what you're doing is correct. And that's basically what he's saying here. It doesn't matter if you change the Sabbath day from Saturday, Friday at sundown, to Saturday at sundown, or whatever day you feel the Sabbath is on. If you change it into another day, you don't have the power to do that. The Father established the Saturday. The Father established. It's incorrect saying the Father established the Shabbat day, and the Father tells you what is set apart and what is profane, and then we're to derive that. So he's saying that doing something against what the commandment is that fearing Elohim? He says right here, it's of course not. He said this would be the fear of man, right? The sin of Jeroboam. Jeroboam talks about this, and we might get into this later on, but it's in 1 Kings chapter 11 and chapter 12. Namely, the sin of Jeroboam is specifically 1 Kings chapter 12, verses 25 through 33, when Jeroboam created a new priestly system, a new holiday system, new places and ways of worship in a new pattern that was somewhat similar to the old pattern, but then was changed. And we see that pattern continues. Nothing new under the sun. So continuing on, I like this, what he says here. Obedience is the highest form of worship. And then he's saying that the pretty much the entirety of the Christian community is saying that Sunday is a day that man has set aside for worship. Yet there's no scriptural decree to make it a weekly Sabbath. Is correct. Fearing Elohim means to tremble at his word. So what he's saying here, essentially, he's saying, I agree with you, Seventh-day Adventists. I agree with your teaching that fearing Elohim has to do with the Sabbath. But then what he's going to say is, we're going to see, is going to say, it's not enough. You guys got to go further. You got to go more. Exodus, 20 verse. Chapter 20, verse 8 through 10, talking about Zakar Shabbat, that word, remember, Zakar, the Shabbat day, to keep it Kodesh, keep it holy. That is the commandment, and that is correct. So he's saying that the principle of the three angel message in Revelation 14 is that fearing Elohim means get back to and obey the original. And that is essentially the message that he has given. But he's saying that there's more than just that. He's saying that it's putting away man-made commandments and doctrines, is what he's saying, which is more than just the Sabbath day. He's saying that it includes the whole law. It is a major part. It is. But it includes the whole law. And he's using this to the observance of Christmas, saying that there is no commandment of December 25th to honor the birth of the Savior, which, arguably isn't even his birthday in the first place. We're not going to get into that in this teaching. He's saying in 1 Corinthians 11:26 that we shall, show the king's death until he comes. Actually, I believe it says Adonai's death here, not king's, but regardless, show Adonai or the Lord's death until he comes. Basically meaning to remember the Passover when he died, not his birthday. The commandment is to keep his death a remembrance, not his birthday a remembrance. And he's saying that if we truly fear Elohim, fear God, that we shall obey his statutes. And part of his statutes in Exodus 23:14, it's also in Leviticus chapter 23, is in Deuteronomy 16:16, is that 3 times you shall keep a chag, a feast, to me in the year. But do we really tremble at his word, right? This is what Jeroboam did. Change the holidays, right? The holy days. Change the set apart times that Father said for us to assemble, and made man-made days that we are to assemble. And, it's one thing if we're like, hey, let's all get together next weekend. Okay. Hey, let's all make a national holiday to get together next weekend. Okay, fine. If that's what, okay, fine. But for us to be like, hey, we're all going to get together on days that we want to get together, but our Creator told us to get together on certain days. Nah, we're not going to listen to that. We're not going to get together on the 7th day, which he commanded. We're not going to get together on the feast days, on the actual holy days, on the actual holidays that the Creator told us to get together on. We're not going to listen to any of those commandments that you told us to do. But we're all going to make every single national holiday. Brazil has national holidays. America has national holidays. The European Union has national holidays. China has national holidays. Russia has national holidays. And you go to any one of those countries and the whole country has off on those national holidays, and everyone doesn't work, and everyone has a party, and everyone goes and assembles in their communities and does things. But then the Creator, which a lot of these people say that they worship and follow, says that we're to keep certain holidays that he says are holidays, and then nobody does them. Nobody has a problem with that. Do you think that's fearing Elohim? No, it's not. That is not fearing Elohim. That's against the third angel message. That is and in so doing causes the mark of the beast to come on someone. Is what Brother Allen is saying. He's saying that it's not just that mark of the beast. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to give a quick little piece here. Is there anything that you want to share before I get into this, Amor?
Sorry,
no. Okay. So here's where we want to be. We want to be in Revelation 20 verse 4. Those who did not worship the beast, nor his image, nor receive the mark upon their foreheads, nor upon their hands. Now, I have this broken into smaller pieces, but expanded upon in season 1, Mark of the Beast 4-part series. Go ahead and check that out in season 1, the 4-part series of the Mark of the Beast. I'm going to do that as quick as I can, because this has to do with fearing Elohim. Because what we're going to see is those who did not worship. Here's the first one. The beast, so we'll go ahead and we'll highlight it orange, right? Nor his image, we'll go ahead and highlight this. I don't know, what do you want to do? Yellow. The mark upon their foreheads, we'll go ahead and do this. And we'll highlight this, I don't know, blue. I can't really see it as blue. And we'll go ahead and do this here in, I had it, now I lost it. There we go. In I guess green will probably be a good way to see it. And then upon their hands. And then, we'll get it here in, I guess we'll do pink. So you see four parts here. Those who did not worship the beast, the image, or get the mark on the forehead or on the hands. It's 4 parts that are there. That same part is in the third angel message in Revelation 14. But the difference is this is the people who did worship the beast, 9 through 11, actually 14, 9 through 11. you can see here that they worship the beast. There's that first one, right? That we have there. We'll do that in orange. They worship the image. What did we do that one in? We did that one in yellow, I think. The mark upon the forehead. I think we did that one in green, and then upon the hand, I think we did that in pink, right? And so we have those four aspects that are there: the beast, the image, the forehead, the hand. In Revelation 14:9 and Revelation 20 verse 4, and it's in the same order. And briefly, like, what is the first commandment? The first and greatest commandment. This is found in the book of Mark, chapter 12, verse 28 through 31, but verse 30 specifically. The one that we're looking at, right? Someone asked him, which is the first commandment of all? Someone asked Messiah that. He says, and he quotes Deuteronomy 6, 4, and 5. The first of all commands is Shema Yasharal, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah Echad, right? Hear Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. In English translations, we'll say that. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart. There's the first one. We'll go ahead and do that in orange. With all your soul, there's the second one. We'll go ahead and do that in yellow. With all your mind, there's the third one. We'll go ahead and do that in green. And with all your strength, there's the fourth one, and we'll do that in pink. Those same orders: heart, being, a soul, in ISR, a heart, soul, mind, strength, in that order. So when you connect that in with the 10 commandments, the first four of the 10 commandments, he says, I am Yahuwah your Elohim. He gives you his name. He says, you have no other false gods. King James will say, no other gods before me is what it'll say there. So the first commandment is that he is Yahuwah your Elohim, Yahuwah Elohecha. And you have no false gods. So the first one is not to worship a false god. So we'll go ahead and put no other false gods. We'll go ahead and put that in orange. And then do not make for yourself a carved image. So don't make a carved image. And we'll go ahead and put that in yellow. And he says, do not bow down to them nor serve them. So it's a two-part there. So he says, do not bow down to them nor serve them. We'll keep that in yellow. That's still part of the second one. And then he says here, do not bring the name. Do not bring the name for naught. And so the third commandment is do not bring the name of Yahuwah, your Elohim, for naught, or for vanity, as a lot of translations will say. We'll go ahead and put that in green. And then the fourth one is to remember the Sabbath day. And we'll go ahead and put that in pink. So when you put it all together, let's go ahead and do that. Now that we have all that scriptures, those who did not, and so you have those who did not worship, we're going to do Revelation 20 verse 4. That's where we want to be. Not those who did worship the beast. Those who did not. Those who did not worship the beast, the first one, the mark of the image of the beast, the second one, have the mark of the beast of their name on their forehead or upon their hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The first four of the four parts of the first and greatest commandment, to love him with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And then the first four commandments is he is Yahuwah, your Elohim, no false god worship, don't make any graven images, bow down and worship it, don't take his name in vanity, and to mark or to zakar Shabbat, remember the Sabbath day, keep it set apart, keep it holy. So those who did not worship the beast, heart, soul, mind, strength, love him with all their heart, seek me with all your heart and soul, you shall find me. Because they remember the first commandment, don't worship any false gods. So they didn't worship the beast because the beast says he's a god. Because they remember the first commandment, no false god worship. It's only Yahuwah, your Elohim. Not whatever names of blasphemy that are on the seven heads of the names of the beast that the harlot rides upon. He says only worship Yahuwah, which is the first commandment. So those who did not break the first part of the mark of the beast, didn't worship the beast, remembered the first commandment, no false god worship. So they love him with all their heart. Second one is those who did not worship the image of the beast, remember the second commandment, don't make any graven images, bow down and worship it. Therefore you love him with all your soul, heart, soul, seek him with all your heart and soul, you shall find him. The third one, and that's the one that mentioned, is those who didn't have the mark of the beast on their on their forehead, heart, soul, mind, strength. Mind, because they love him with all their mind. They didn't have the mark of the beast on the forehead because they remember the third commandment, not to take his name in vain, because his name is a mark on the forehead. As Ezekiel, chapter 9, verse 4 and 5, Revelation chapter 14, 1, Revelation chapter 7, 3, Revelation chapter 9, I think it's 4 and 5 or 4 or 5, talks about, and Revelation chapter 22, verse 4 or 5, in a lot of other spots that is there. His name is upon our forehead. And so they didn't worship the beast. They didn't have the beast mark on their mind because they love Yahuwah with all their mind. Therefore, they didn't take his name, which is on our mind, in vanity. So the fourth commandment is they didn't have the mark of the beast on their hand, heart, soul, mind, strength, the works of your hands. The works of their hands are not marked with the beast mark because they remember the seventh day, or the seventh day, the fourth commandment, the seventh day, to Zakar Shabbat. Zakar means to mark the Sabbath, to keep it set apart. And marking the Sabbath and keeping it set apart has to do with 6 days you labor with your hands, and then 1 day you rest your hands, your works. So you could argue very strongly that the Sabbath is connected in with the mark of the beast. And that is what, Brother Allen is sharing here with this message. We're a little bit out of time, a little bit over. I'm going to try to hurry up here to go through some of this. That's what the brother is saying here, but I expanded upon that it's not, and as he's saying, it's not just the Sabbath day. It's also his name, his character, his power, his authority, which is what his name, that's what the word name means. Shem is name, character, power, and authority. And you could say that his character or characteristics has to do with his personality, and not removing his personality for false god systems. And part of his personality, his character, his name, his authority has to also do with his commandments. And his commandments are not just the Sabbath day commandments. It's a lot of things. And the third angel message, the first angel announcing the pure Besor HaMalkuth, the everlasting gospel. The second one talking about Babel the Great is fallen. And the third one talking about those who have the mark of the beast because they did all this false worship, is all connected with not fearing Elohim, which is connected with breaking his commandments. So again, this chapter that he's sharing here is not about necessarily the milk of the matter, pronouncing his name correctly. It's the meat of the matter, is living his name out incorrectly, living his characteristics, his power, his authority, representing his name. They are not just mispronouncing his name or not even saying it entirely. They are fully misrepresenting his name, as in they're misrepresenting his character and his authority. And so that's what he's saying here. He's talking about, part of fearing Elohim is to fear his name. As the scriptures say, unite my heart to fear thy name. Also, it talks about Psalms 115:1, not unto us, O Yahuwah, not unto us, but unto thy name give honor for thy mercy and for thy truth's sake. So again, yes, it is about a spoken name that is there. You can't deny that it's not there, because it is there, because it's in the text. The Tetragrammaton, the 4 letters are there. But the meat of the matter is that people are not properly characterizing and representing his name, let alone mispronouncing or just completely disregarding his spoken name. I did want to touch into, right, should we fear him when it's too late? Babel the Great, I have a teaching on Babel the Great, and I will expand upon it more. Babel the Great is the great confusion, the great mixing, that causes the great scattering. Babel means confusion, mixing, scattering, and it's the ways of the nations mixed with the truth of Elohim. And that's what Babylon the Great is. It's the ways that is true mixed with the ways that are false, the ways of the nations. But it's specifically people that say that they're worshiping the Creator, but they have all this harlotry in their false god systems, and then this is what falls. That is there, but that's a separate teaching. I'll expand upon that in the series to come. In further series in the future. I have a short synopsis on, I think in season 2, I uploaded a live presentation, but I'm gonna really expand upon it more. In kind of, getting close here to the end that I want to get into. Yeah. He does say, I do like this, 2 Thessalonians 2, 10 through 12. If Soul, heeded the first message of the first angel message, Revelation 14, 6 and 7, and worship, obey him, no one would have to be warned about worshiping the beast in his image, which is the third angel message. Paul says here, quote, all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. Paul continues, and for this cause Elohim shall send them a strong delusion, so that they believe a lie. That's something that is lie. That believe the mixture, believe Babel the Great, believe the Satan lies, that they might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness, in sin. Because they don't want to define sin. But that's, he's saying that Psalms 29:2, give unto Yahuwah the honor due unto his name, character, power, and authority. Also the spoken rendition of it, which chapter 5 and on will get into the dialect things on it. But specifically is give unto his name, which is part of the Sabbath. It's part of the holy days, but it's also do with all the things that Messiah walked out, walking in spirit and truth, or truth and spirit. A lot of people walk just in the spirit. They don't have the truth. They're destabilized. A lot of people just walk in the truth, or just in the what the Bible says, the written, the law and stone, so to speak, and they don't walk in the spirit. But we got to have both. Walk in spirit and truth. That is giving honor to his name, because Messiah walked in spirit and truth. And those who worship Elohim have to worship in spirit and truth. That's John chapter 4, verse 20 through 24, 24 specifically. He said, I am Yahuwah, that is my name. My splendor I will not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 42:8. Inside the seventh day, Sabbath. This Exodus chapter 20, verse 11. Say 4 and 6 days, Yahuwah, that's his name, made, creator, that's his title, the heavens, the earth, and the seas below, and all that are in them, that's his jurisdiction. Yahuwah, creator, heaven and earth, that's his seal of authority. Kind of like what you see here, name, Abraham Lincoln, president, that was his title. United States is his jurisdiction. The Sabbath day does connect with his jurisdiction. But it's more than just that. And that's what the brother is trying to say here. John 17:26, I have declared unto them thy name, and I will declare it, that the love wherewith thou hast loved me may be in them, and I in them. So he said that he declared unto them thy name, his character and authority. He represented him. And when a bride is in the sealing of a marriage covenant, she takes on her husband's name. So let's go ahead and wrap things up. I'm sorry I didn't give you a whole lot of time or more. If you want to touch things on the future, we're in the next episode to come. Sorry, this portion here. Don't don't cast pearls before swine. So I have my my jar of pearls here, and I really like this jar of pearl that we have here in this portion here. Numbers 6:27. They shall put my name upon the children of Yasharal, of Israel, and I will bless them, which is Revelation chapter 22, I think it's verse 4 and 5. But it has to do with his name being upon their foreheads. I shall put my name upon the children of Israel, which is part of that. That's the pearl, not the cast before swine, is that his name, his character, his power, and authority, which supersedes any vocalization that we have. It's the meat of the matter. But as we're going to get into in the episodes to come, it is important to also proclaim the name of Yahuwah. Remember, guard your heart, guard your soul, guard the Ra, or pay the toll.